Hello, this is Mr. Mola for Lesson 12-5, Adding and Subtracting Rational Expressions. So this lesson might seem pretty easy to begin with, but do not underestimate it. The first couple of problems might seem pretty simple, but after that it will get more difficult. So kind of exactly what it sounds like, we are adding and subtracting rational expressions. So remember, most of these are fractions, so we will need common denominators. Again, those beginning ones will give you common denominators, so you're really just worrying about the numerators there. So my denominators are the same, so I know my answer is going to have, this 3y squared here, or at least step 2 will, I should say. And then on my numerators I have y and 5y, which will give me 6y, but we should still simplify at the end. So 6 and 3 can be simplified, so I'm going to end up with 2 over 1. If I have 1y on top and 2 on bottom, I end up with 1y on the bottom, so I'm left with 2 over 1y. Kind of the same thing here. I'm going to end up with 4x and then over x squared minus 16. So, simplifying those with like denominators, not too bad. Again, kind of the same thing here. 4 over, then 4 x to the third, and then we'll simplify that. But I do want to draw your attention to a problem like this, and really just the numerator part. So remember, this minus sign here means I'm minusing 5a and minusing the negative 6. So 7a minus 5a will give me a 2a. And then the negative 2 minus a negative 6. So there's a minus minus, which really means plus. So it really means I'm going to end up with 2a plus 4. Okay, do not forget about that negative. It goes to both minus 5a and minus the negative 6. And then I have my denominator, which we can simplify. And I'll simplify before I write it out here. So I'm going to be left with a plus 2 and a plus 1. And then I can also simplify that numerator, which I'll do here in a second. So 2a plus 4 will get simplified to 2, and then we will have a plus 2. And we'll see I have an a plus 2 on top and an a plus 2 on bottom. So those will cancel, so I'm just left with 2 over a plus 1. Okay, sometimes we're going to have to find the least common multiple. Okay, do not get it confused with the greatest common factor. So the lowest that I can make both of these problems. Okay, so my least common multiple between 3 and 6 is 6. I have an x and I have an x to the third. My biggest one there is x to the third. I have a y squared and a y. So again, my biggest one there is the y squared. I have a nothing and a z. So my biggest one there is a z. Okay? Do not confuse least common multiple, greatest common factor. Least common multiple, what's the smallest number and variables that you can turn both of these into? Greatest common factor, what's the biggest thing you can pull out? Okay, like we did greatest common factor here when I had 2a plus 4. I found the greatest common factor was 2. Here, least common multiple, the lowest number that both of these go into. Alright, let's try a problem like this. We'll see we don't have like denominators, but I can make like denominators here pretty simply. Okay, so I have a c here and I have a 3c here. Well, to make common denominators, I just need to multiply this equation by 3. And remember, both of them get multiplied by 3. So I'm left with 9 over 3c minus 4 over 3c. Didn't have to do anything to that right side because it was already at 3c. And so then I'm just left with 5 over 3c. Okay, so be aware in case you have to multiply something just like that problem, you're multiplying to get the common denominators so that you can combine the like terms.